the only reason why you ever emotionally react negatively towards something is that you know that it is not true. The reason why when somebody insults you, says something negative about you, that makes you feel terrible about yourself, and the reason why you would react so emotionally negatively about this is because it is not true. That is the only reason why we would ever react emotionally negatively about something, is because there is something not true in it that we know, that we've sensed, no matter it's inside of that situation itself or what it brings up in ourselves. For example, when we hate somebody, it feels terrible to hate someone, whatever it is. Anger feels terrible. Frustration feels terrible. That is a very negative emotional reaction. Is why we have that. It's because whatever we think about that person, whatever we believe about that person is essentially untrue. That's why it feels so terrible to feel any negative emotions, is because whatever we're thinking about, whatever belief we hold about something is not true. If somebody says something negative about you and you believe in it, you feel terrible. That's because you know that it is not true. Well, not always conscious, obviously. Obviously, in those cases where you agree with whatever they say about you negatively, you're not consciously knowing that they're not true, but you do know that it is not true. That's the only reason why you are reacting emotionally negatively about that thing. So if somebody says something negative about you and you don't agree with it at all, you wouldn't feel terrible at all. You would think, okay, whether I'm curious why they said that and what it meant for them. That would be your reaction would be neutral. Your reaction would be curious. Your reaction would not be a negative emotional reaction. And what do we do when we feel these emotions? We don't repress them because they are sent by truth. The truth in ourselves are sending these emotions to let us know that whatever we are believing right now about ourselves or other people or the world is just so untrue. That's why we feel so terrible. So we need to feel these messages, these emotional messages sent by truth, to release them, to let the inside of the truth inside of us out, to let more of it out. So when we feel sad, we just sink into that sadness. We cry out loud like nobody's watching. We let the tears fly. We feel as much the sadness as possible, and it would just pass. Let me tell you, in less than 5 or actually many people say in just 90 seconds, if we can just sit with the emotion itself, none of the thoughts, just the bodily, emotions or physical things. You sit with this physical thing in your body, which is this emotion. You can feel it literally in your body. Whatever emotion you feel, you can always feel it in your body. If you can always, really. And you can just imagine its physical trace, like the color of it, the shape of it, how it's moving in your body. Just think about it, feel it, really feel it fully without thinking. Don't think about anything, because these emotions, if you don't pay attention, it will just drive you, the thoughts just drive crazily into your head around emotions. Don't go there. Only go inside of your body, not your head, and feel these emotions. And when you do that, all of your suffering is gone, because suffering is not the negative emotions themselves, but the resistance to them. When you're sad, you are mostly likely resisting something. And resistance, that's why you're suffering. You're suffering not because you're sad, you're suffering because you're resisting this sadness or whatever that's causing your sadness. You're resisting. If you're resisting something that's causing your sadness, you're also resisting the sadness itself. Just sit there and let the sadness rule you for 90 seconds, fully, completely, physically. Whatever emotion, it can be sadness, it can be anger, whatever. When it comes to anger, it's the most tricky one, because anger is something that really it's just so powerful that it makes you forget about things, makes you forget about doing this thing. It just drives you to do things out of anger, which we should really pay attention. What we need to do is to feel the anger inside of our bodies, rather than stand up and curse at somebody or slap somebody in the face. That's not what we're gonna do, because we will regret later. And that's not what anger is there for. Anger is there for you to unlock deeper emotions. Anger is like the surface of some deeper emotions. Anger itself is not really a thing. It's like a facade, it's a disguise for some deeper emotions that we kind of bury deeper than other emotions. That's why there's anger. At least that's what I've learned so far, and I really agree with that. When we feel angry, we feel either hurt, scared, or frustrated, or upset. That's what we feel. When you feel angry, just ask yourself 3 questions. Am I hurt? Am I afraid of something? Am I frustrated? Frustrated meaning, like, am I feeling helpless here? Like, there's something that I feel so helpless here, which I think is just another form of sadness. When we really want something to change, it just wouldn't move, just wouldn't change. Or when we want something to happen a certain way, it doesn't. We get really frustrated. It's actually a very, very, it's just sadness. It feels just really sad. It's just sadness. And just feel it. That's what I have to say about negative emotions. And again, I want to stress that anytime we feel negatively emotionally about something, it's always because we know that it is not true. Whatever we are believing at this moment is not true. That's why we react so negative emotionally at this moment.